Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host, Evan Teague, with like always is my fantastic friend Noah Bailey. So we both finally seen the Fantastic Four movie, and we're here to talk about it today.
Yeah,
So,
we are.
what are your first just general thoughts?
I love it.
They
It's
finally made a
really good.
good one.
I know. Like, I know they were due because it's like, well, it's the fourth one. It's got to be fantastic. But it's
Right?
also like there was like the slight like they could fumble because but
Yeah.
they did not. It was really good. It was. I really liked it a lot because I think they did a really good job not over explaining but also just like going for it. And they made them all really likable.
Yes. Like it's one of those rare Marvel movies nowadays, seemingly, where I feel like nearly every single aspect of this movie was pretty much flawless. Like there were scenes that absolutely blew me away. Like all the thing else that happened in space was phenomenal on the big screen. The quiet moments were also like the slower moments didn't feel slow because all of the characters
Mm-hmm.
meshed super well. I liked all of the individual characters a lot. Um, just the action set pieces. There weren't too many of them. The ones that were there were done very well. Uh, the just the set design, the color grading, just almost every single thing about just the way this movie movied was really good.
Really good. And and like you said, like the character moments, they felt so real and genuine without having to like rediscover their origins and
Mm-hmm.
redo this and that. Like I love that how refreshing it is that for example, not once really is it really reflected like, oh, Ben's sad about being a rock now
Mm-hmm.
and oh, I used to be somebody now. Like I don't get me wrong, it's a very real like conflict, but I feel like it's been done to death.
Yeah.
And like we get it. Like it obviously has
Mm-hmm.
issues, but again, it's been 4 years since this happened. So like he's gotten a lot better getting over it, and people still like him, and people aren't scared of him. They embrace him. He's awesome. Like he's,
Exactly.
yeah.
So one kind of thing about that specifically, um, I like a part of me almost wishes like again on two sides of that. One, I almost kind of wish there was maybe just a little bit more of that, just because I liked the little scenes he had with Natasha Lyonne's character. There's only like two of them, one at the very beginning, one at the very end. I would have liked maybe one more scene in the middle to make her character seem to matter. And also just because I like this actor as Ben Grimm so much, I would have just liked to have more more quiet moments with him dealing with that. I would have liked to maybe see the kind of dichotomy between how his hometown, on Delancey Street, how like that community embraced him completely, but everyone else may be still a little apprehensive about him. Like they love the other Fantastic Four, but maybe him not as much. However, like you said, we don't need those moments to the point where I almost kind of wish they had just like not taken out even more of his scenes, but maybe like even de-emphasized it even more to the point where you can clearly tell there was a cut of this movie that had like at least a couple of extra scenes about that. Like one scene in particular where he's watching like the recap of their space flight on the TV screen, and like it cuts to black, and he's like looking at a reflection of himself. That's a very well done shot, but then it's not really followed up on. Later, he's walking down that dark alley, and those those people kind of run by him and just like yell, just kind of like give like a mean comment on it, and they run away, and the scene ends. I feel like that scene was supposed to lead into him, something more with him, but because there wasn't, it just kind of felt out of place almost.
Hmm.
I don't know, like yeah, I didn't dislike either scene. I just almost feel like either do more of that stuff or don't really do. much of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little peppered in a little bit. It's kind of like a half in, half out. But I mean, I feel like it still was effective.
I do really like the short little conversation that Reed and Ben had, where Reed like you know really even all these years later feels really bad for what he did to Ben
Hmm.
specifically, and Ben's just like I don't I'm over it. I don't really care anymore. It's like that. I think
Yeah,
that's really all you need. I think it's
right.
fine.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of what they really wanted to go because like we didn't want to make this like a like oh I hate what I look like now. I'm a curse and this. I'm like
Mhm.
no, it's what's inside. And another like it's like okay we're good. Like we don't need. He's he can he can throw a building. He'll be all right.
Yeah,
Like
and I knew that the thing was strong. I
oh
never really
yeah.
like pieced together he was like that strong.
Oh no,
It's like thing is like
like
crazy
comic
throw it
accurate
strong.
thing is like on par with the Hulk almost. Like yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Thing is definitely like that. Like he
Mhm.
is extremely like he's extremely strong in comic. Like the Fantastic Four have some of the most busted feats in comics.
We'll get to one of those in a second, but just a small little anecdote. I remember I was over at a friend's house. This was 15 plus years ago. Over at a friend's house playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and we were picking our squad, and we could pick like the Hulk and the Thing were both in this game, and they had near identical stats, but the Thing was like a little more agile. So it was like, why would you ever pick the Thing? Why would you ever pick the Hulk if the Thing is just like a little better? So like we'd all just pick the Thing because like yeah we like the Hulk, but the Thing's just a better character in this game.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like I said, we didn't need this to be a Ben Grimm movie. This was
Right.
a Johnny and Sue movie. Like this is their movie. Not really much together. I almost wish they had more scenes together since they are siblings. I feel like they could have leaned into their like sibling relationship a little more, but like individually, like
Yeah.
I would say like they both kind of had like the strongest moments in this movie.
I agree. I do
Yeah.
think Reed had some strong moments too. Kind of like what you touched on before. Reed definitely takes a lot of personal responsibility for things,
Mhm.
including like, the safety of the entire planet. Even before we get to kind of like the climax in the end, it's like, he's kind of like, yeah, we got to stop this and end all this and do this and
Mhm.
basically save the world from itself. And he's kind of like, okay, cool, we did that. Like, good job.
Yeah.
It's like man, he just like, bro, it's like great job, but like that ain't all on you, man. Like we get like you are the smartest man in the world, like that is confirmed, but it's like, it's like it's almost kind of like he feels like he because of his knowledge, he is like it's like his responsibility. He's like the older brother of the planet. He has to like fix
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah. But being of brothers, I really like how Johnny is. I love how he's depicted in this movie because in pretty much every previous iteration, he's the way he's kind of depicted is, oh, he's just the younger brother who's just kind of along for the ride and happens to get superpowers. He's a goofball. He lets the powers go to his head. He's very showboaty. Here they really delve into the fact that no, Reed picked him because not only is he Sue's brother, he's also very smart and very
Yeah.
capable in his own right. I'm not
Right.
My brother pointed this out and I kind of couldn't get it out of my head. I'm not exactly sure what his specific role is on the team on the spaceship because Ben is the navigator. Sue is like to cloak them and put shields up where possible, and Reed's obviously the like mastermind. Is he like a mechanic? Is he what does
I
Johnny even
mean, I'm
do?
not exactly sure exactly. I would assume in terms of like just to be on brand, probably like with like fuel and thrusters stuff like that.
Hmm.
But I mean, I'm not exactly sure. But no, he is canonically like also not to the level of Reed per se, but is very smart,
Yeah,
just like Ben and Sue and all them.
yeah, like he's still more joking than the rest of the team, but he was always involved with Reed during the entire process of you
Right,
know everything, him somehow extrapolating an entire alien language, which is kind of
crazy.
ridiculous, but it's still pretty cool that that happened. Um, just the way he used his fire, especially during those parts where they had those blackouts, him still able to like read at night with his fire hands. Um, the flame effect on him was done slightly different than it was previous times. I think it still looked really really good. So yeah, I just really like how Johnny Storm was in this movie.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think they picked Johnny really well. I like how they made him, yeah, still, still lighthearted, still a goofball, but also like, he's still a genius and he's still a lot of, still the more younger, more carefree, fun guy. I feel like a lot of it was more implied than shown because he doesn't do a lot
mm,
of like reckless behavior now, but I guess it's very much like because we're 4 years in, he's done some growing too.
mm,
It's kind of like, oh yeah, guys, like, me, it's Johnny. I'm always chasing girls and fast cars, which like we don't really see him doing, but
yeah.
like, it's like, it's Johnny. We know, if you know Johnny and
Yeah.
kind of just that archetype of character, you can kind of assume what he's going for.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, it will never make sense to me why people got so up in arms over the fact that this Silver Surfer was a lady now.
You know how people are.
Well, why?
Because people get upset about everything.
But it's literally a character from the comics. It literally was a choice that benefited the story way more than it did if it was a man. Like like having Johnny and her kind of like flirting a little bit and like that actually like you know helped the story and help that Silver Surfer like come around in the end. Like it wasn't just a choice just for representation purposes or whatever. Like it actually made like it actually drove the story to have the Silver Surfer be a woman. So I've still seen people even after the movie came out try to say like, oh, this movie sucked because it wasn't Nora Rand or whatever. No, no, that's not his name. What's his name? I think I almost got it. Whatever. That the male one. Like if it was this, it's not him. But like I really liked her characterization. I liked the design of the Silver Surfer a lot. I like just when she is flying, she like in every opportunity moves like an actual surfer does. I thought that was a very nice touch, especially when she was like surfing around that lava, around a black hole. It just looked amazing. Um, and I felt like they used her powers very well, just her ability just to phase through anything effortlessly, just travel, you know, just faster than you can even comprehend. Like I felt like even though we'd already seen a Silver Surfer in a movie before, I felt like and Galactus technically, I felt like it was done in even outside of it just being a woman now. I felt like it was done in an even more like in a interesting enough way where I wasn't like directly comparing them. Not that I would,
Yeah,
you know, not that I think that 2007 movie did anything better than this one, but you know, I,
just
I
different.
just different. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it worked out well. I mean, again, it's like it really it established, you know, the power set, how fast, strong, etc. she is. Her role with Galactus was pretty straightforward. It worked out pretty well, but it also, I think, highlights that Silver Surfer does have a mind of their own. So, which obviously helped
Mm-hmm.
out in the end. So, I mean, I think it was very well done.
Yeah. Yeah. I do kind of wonder if there's like maybe a couple of scenes from hers that are cut where
Probably.
because we just see her fly away before Galactus shows up. I kind of wonder if there was like one more scene of her like contemplating what Johnny said and how her relationship with Galactus and all that. Um, because then she just kind of shows back up at the end of the climax. And it just, like not that it comes out of nowhere, but yeah, I would have liked to see actually maybe actually see her have that struggle internally, but not a huge deal. It just there's a couple of times, especially if you like compare to stuff from the trailers, where you can clearly tell that maybe something was cut or re-edited or changed. Because it's actually a fun fact. Uh, you know that scene in the beginning where that talk show guy is like doing basically like a little montage of the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, um, according to the trailers and another scoop, originally the idea was for uh, you know, that guy to like about to introduce them, but then the Fantastic Four get a ping on their watches, and they have to like go fight somebody. That was gonna be like a 10-minute opening action scene against that guy with the monkeys, because so like one of the
Oh.
fights they mentioned in that montage, we were actually see that entire fight, and clearly remnants of that existed in the final cut because we saw a Reed fighting an orangutan, we saw a bridge collapsing, we saw just like things happening that clearly were a part of that opening scene. I don't think you necessarily needed a big opening scene. I think that montage was good enough to get the point across and enough action to get you going. But it would have been nice to have that kind of parallel for in the end when they do get that thing again and have to run out with the baby now. It clearly like that was supposed to be a funny callback to the beginning, come full circle type moment. But
Mm.
but the way the movie is structured, that didn't happen the same way. But it didn't actually need to. But it's just that scene is very emblematic of the fact that like clearly there were some things that were changed, not necessarily for the worse, just you know it was at one point a slightly different movie, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's just, it's like things are changed and they go through and they realize maybe this is better. But I mean, overall, you know, the main premise, the main ideas of the movie were pretty consistent. I think it did a really good job of, explaining the characters without over explaining them.
Mm.
Great character moments, a lot of good. I really like this world too. I love how I don't know. It's like I like how from the very beginning it shows you that the presence of the Fantastic Four has really benefited this world because they're
Yep.
literally just like, we've been helping the world. Everybody trusts them now. Like
Mm.
they're really just heroes and they've made the world better. And they're kind of like a 60s, but still have technology. Like, they look like the Jetsons. They got like flying
Yep.
cars, but also, have like old school looking houses. So it's like, that's probably Reed and them helping, innovate the world. And I don't know, it's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about Galactus. I didn't know that apparently that is how Galactus actually works. I was always under the impression that Galactus always just grew really big and then like just just ate plants like an apple or just whole.
Hmm.
But no, apparently it's from the beginning he's always had that like big ship that ate plants from the inside. I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, isn't that the thing where he like change? Isn't there like in the comics he like changes size depending on like
Who he's talking
where
to,
he is, or
pretty much.
yeah, or something like that. His
Yeah.
form like adjust or something.
Yeah, and I think it was kind of hard to tell, but I do believe he had multiple sizes in this movie. Like when they were first talking to him, I think he was a lot bigger than he was when he was on Earth. But he has like some kind of size manipulation that, yeah, like that. That's why I thought he just, and I'm sure later depictions do have him get really big just to chomp on planets. But at least original his original issue had him in that big ship that ate everything inside, then like fed it to him through the back tubes. Like that's a very cool visual. I think it's very.
Yeah.
I know this came later, but very Unicron coded. I know Unicron came later, but like everything on the inside, just everything, just the visual of just how the planet like kind of like got destroyed around him and like just it, which I like Transformers, so that was that was that's nice. Um, one of the very minor issues I have with this movie, and the two people I independently saw the movie with both had a similar problem with this, is even though I like Galactus, I liked his ship. I I liked everything he said, did, what he had looked like. He actually looked like Galactus, which
Definitely.
how did they screw that up so badly? Like in that 2007 movie, like why is he a stupid big cloud? Why isn't there like a version of Galactus in the middle? Like, oh, they had a reference where like the clouds like kind of made the shape of his helmet. What? Just be the guy. Whatever. Sorry. Um, After the Fantastic Four got back home, you know, after Shalabal got out of the black hole and like started, talking to Galactus, he was like, how we're gonna go get the baby. They Galactus, passed by Jupiter, and then like a good amount of the movie happened, and then it passed by Mars, and then
Hmm.
not a lot of movie happened, and then it was at the moon, and then another like good portion of the movie happened, and then there was a scene where a Silver Surfer is literally like being silhouetted by the moon, which is a fantastic shot. Like it looked gorgeous. But wouldn't you be able to see Galactus in the sky in that scene if he was literally by the moon in the previous scene? So because they're like I understand, this need for this impending doom, like, showing how close he is, but because he's apparently able to get from Jupiter to Mars in like, not a lot of time, but also on Earth, we know that like at least a couple of weeks have passed. It was a little hard to discern exactly how much time was passing between, like, how much time was actually passing.
Hmm.
I almost kind of wish we didn't really know how far away he is. I almost kind of feel like that might have been like a reshoot later just to have a ticking time clock, which is theoretically effective, but I almost kind of feel it would have been a stronger image to not know how close he is. Have Reed almost set up the worldwide teleporting devices, and then Silver Surfer is here. She's breaking everything all of a sudden, like because the audience, I feel like the audience not expecting because I wasn't expecting that to work. I was like, okay, how is this gonna break? Who's gonna not be involved? Something's not gonna connect right.
Right. Very.
Which we'll get to that later, but that
We'll
would have
get
been
to
fun to be like every planet, every city on the planet is, or every country on the planet is involved except for Latveria, but we don't need them. It's fine.
that.
um. Uh. So yeah, like that, because like I can't even really think of that many other like issues I have with it outside of just a kind of nitpick of not really needing to see Galactus actually approaching because it makes time feel weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it is. I mean, movie time passing is always inconsistent, regardless. Also, like, maybe he's slowing down. Maybe he's like, I'm gonna stop to let the Silver Surfer, come and,
Maybe.
then I'm gonna speed back up. Like, who knows? Like, I don't. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah. Also, so so when when Reed has the idea to like teleport to Earth, I immediately thought about that scene from Justice League Doom
Oh yeah.
where Superman's like, oh, like Vandal Savage's plan, and like they're having the solar
Yep.
crest gonna blow up the Earth, and he's like, Superman's like, maybe I can push the Earth out of the way, and Batman's like, if I had a week, I couldn't explain how often that wouldn't work, and I was kind of like, this is never gonna work,
Yeah. Like was
like.
I know it's a Hail Mary, but was the plan to teleport our moon also? Because that seems kind of important.
Well, I mean that's my thing. It's like, okay, so I guess Reed said that he could teleport it millions of light years away to a atmosphere that was within 2% of Earth, which I feel like is a lot. when we're considering atmospheres,
like
but at the same time,
our
I guess
planet
that would include it.
is literally in the Goldilocks zone where it's literally perfect. If we go like
Right.
just if we drift just like a little too far out, we'll freeze to death. Like 2% feels like a
Yes.
lot.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like a lot, so I'm kind of like, eh. But also, like, I mean, they have wormhole generators, so like, they probably
Yeah,
have they can probably see a lot more space than we've ever seen. So
sure, but without a moon, I
maybe
feel
he
like our
just spends
tides are
two
going to be screwed
percent.
up, and then also just messes up a lot of other things. Like,
Yeah, I mean, the idea of teleporting an entire planet all at once and intact makes no sense. The amount of power you would need, even if you did shut off all the lights on Earth for like hours at a time, which
and
you know probably still wouldn't even work. I do think it's hilarious that, I mean, not hilarious, but like I do think it's great because like this would never, like, the Fantastic Four and us have real effect on the people that actually they would listen, because this would never work. Even
no,
if people knew that the world's going, people would just be like, I'm just gonna party because the world's gonna end anyway and ruin it
mm-hmm.
anyway.
Yeah, or they would call it
But
some
I
kind of
guess,
government conspiracy to control you,
yeah, I mean,
or they would do like
and
the example of the
then,
movie did where they joined the cult of Galactus. Like that would
yeah,
totally happen.
basic, yeah, no, literally. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. And then also, then there's
Mm-hmm.
again, like, there's the baby thing, which
Yeah.
I really want to talk about because I'm
Okay.
kind of like, I have some thoughts.
I
First of
know.
all, first of all, why would you tell the people that? That was a terrible idea. I don't. There was no reason to say that at all.
Just say you couldn't beat him. Just say he was too big. I don't know.
Say
Like
anything. Say, oh, we found him. We tried to fight him. He got away, but he said he's coming for us. Say, oh, um, he got us, but we'll get him next time.
yeah.
Don't say he's too big, but he said he'll leave us alone if we give him our baby that we had. Like, everyone's gonna say, give
Mm-hmm.
up the baby. And they're right. They're like, okay, like, look, I'm not like, okay, like, listen, I
Mm-hmm.
get it. It's your baby. That's an impossible decision for any parent. But realistically, if he's going to eat the world, that means he eats your baby too. We're not saying give up. We're saying if you can't beat him, give the baby. I'm sorry. Like, I'd be like, yeah, sure, try to fight him again. But like
Mm-hmm.
you can, like, and this is always controversial, but I'm like, you can always have another kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Well, for the
trying to
record,
relive,
in
but
this specific instance, they said they've been trying for 2 years and it wasn't working. So just
I
be,
know, no, I
but
understand, and like, no, and like, fertility issues are very real. I understand that, but it's just like, this is quite literally a world-ending event. This isn't like,
mm-hmm.
oh, it's like he's going to eat the planet. Now, granted, you could also argue, who says he'll keep his word? He might just steal your baby and kill you anyway, which
Yeah,
he
he
probably
would.
would, because you know, Galactus is, Galactus. So like, I
Yeah.
get it. He's probably like, yeah, that's a dumb idea anyway. So again, that's why I'm like, let's try to stop him still. But again, if worst comes to worst, I mean, at least, like, consider. And also, don't tell the public. That's such a bad.
And
I realize you're the most powerful people in the world, so they can't take your baby if they wanted to. But like, why tell them that?
I think well a part of that is just the characterization of Reed. I think is so good in this movie that like it just makes total sense that he would be that blunt. He would be that like yeah like this is such an obvious choice for us that he wouldn't do that. Like yeah I molded over my head, but like no I would never actually do that. So like because I wouldn't do that, surely you would also not do that. But like
Yeah, we're
his
not
like
Reed Richards.
yeah um like he but at the same time, because he is him and, his wife doesn't want to give up the baby, like him even just having the thought of that would take her off. And I think that conversation they had is done very well. Like, him being like, I don't want to think these bad things, but these bad things can protect us, and I don't want to hurt you, but that's just how I am. And she's like, I know, but sometimes that's that still hurts. Like that's just a very real conversation that I feel
Yeah.
would happen in that situation, while
Also,
still
unrelated.
ending with
Yeah.
them not giving up the baby. Sorry, go.
Yeah. Also, how again, this is not that that's the point of the movie, but I'm like, how if you're I just thought about this, but I'm like, if you're smart enough, I mean, you're Reed Richards, you can literally make wormhole generators and literal teleportation of an entire planet actually feasible. There's not you don't have better like, you know, better like
Perception.
ability to conceive a baby. Like, I mean,
Um,
like that feels off, but
so
okay.
I'm gonna chalk that up to him, even after 4 years, not fully understanding how much their DNA has changed, and maybe that affecting
Okay, that makes sense.
maybe.
That makes
I'm not
sense.
sure.
That okay. Okay, we'll run with that.
Yeah.
We'll run with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not something to like, you know, dig into. It's not the
Mm.
point. It's just kind of like, oh, I just thought about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I mean,
No,
yeah,
but
I mean,
you're
yeah,
absolutely right though. It probably technically is the right choice. And everyone on the planet, mind you, not just the city, the planet believes that
right.
they're betraying them by doing this. So it is kind of absurd. I understand this needs to happen in order for the movie to keep going, but like it is kind of absurd for Sue to go out there and plead with this little crowd of people, and those people just immediately are like, "Oh yeah, we're on your side now," and then the rest of the world is also just immediately on their side
No,
now. That's a little
not at all.
unrealistic.
No, not at all. I mean, because like again, like no way. Because like at the end of the day, like especially how they worded it, like if they had a said Lactus is trying to kill us and he wanted to steal our baby.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, but it's like, I mean, don't tell them like, yeah, he said he wouldn't do it. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel
Yeah.
yeah, like there's a reason you don't like there's a reason certain things are kept secret. I'm not saying that like and obviously the Fantastic Four has built a large reputation off of being both transparent and very helpful for society, but it's like don't just yeah, you probably shouldn't just blurt that out. That's probably a bad idea.
Yeah. I I will say we'll talk more about this movie itself in a little bit, but like kind of while watching the movie and especially kind of thinking on it more after and after watching Superman again, I can't help but feel like these movies are weirdly similar in a lot of ways. And there are some things that this movie does that I almost kind of wish Superman delved more into, like, you know, it, him, something being revealed about him that causes this massive backlash around the world. In this movie, we have time to stew on that. We have time to see how, everyone on the earth really, you know, reacts to that, how the Fantastic Four are dealing with that. Whereas in Superman, because everything has to move so fast, we don't really ever get much time to really see how the world is reacting, how Superman really cares, because it just does move so fast. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like especially after seeing it again, I do think Superman does a lot of things really well. It just is funny how there's kind of two movies out now, both superhero movies that touch on similar just aspects of being a superhero. Where like you know your actions do affect people globally, and they can turn on you on a dime. And I just feel like Fantastic Four kind of, still not perfectly, still kind of handled it maybe a little better. Does that
Hmm.
make sense?
I mean, yeah, that's fair. But I mean, it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of yeah. I mean, I think they do it a little. I think they do it pretty well. Like, I think I like Superman a little more, but
And another like direct comparison that I've seen online, which again is not like a knock against Superman necessarily. I just something like one of the first tweets I saw after coming out of Fantastic Four, and I agree with completely, is Superman could have benefited from 20 more minutes because it felt like about 20 minutes of the movie was like removed, or it was moving going so fast about 20
Hmm.
minutes would have really helped just the movie flow better. Whereas Fantastic Four, 20 more minutes would have helped that movie because I liked the characters and story so much. I would have just liked 20 more minutes of it.
So 20 minutes wouldn't necessarily have helped. More just I just want more.
Yes.
I feel like that's yeah. I don't know because I feel like if that's the case, then maybe you shouldn't have 20 more minutes because it's like I think the potential for adding fluff is
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah. Yeah. Like, whereas this movie, you could argue, has fluff anyway. Superman really didn't because it did have to go so fast.
not
Um,
really. Where do you think you would add those 20 minutes in Superman?
in the Superman, um, having spent just a little more time on the farm resting, is having spent at least
Hmm.
one more uh have one more scene at the planet after
That
the
that's what
after
I was thinking. Yeah,
the big reveal to see have just overhear conversations between the other staffers about Superman, like basically Perry telling him to write a paper about this. He just does not want to, like that. There's conflict between with both Superman and Clark, and these other characters that I think it didn't really delve into, that I think it should have, given the events of the movie. Because there's apparently a whole day of him looking for crypto, but I feel you easily could have had just one more scene of him, talking to the other supporting cast, and he just kind of would have. I think it would
yeah,
have
I
helped.
agree. Yeah, especially the planet part. I feel like he was never really there.
Mm, yeah, but again, not a huge deal. I do think that movie is actually pretty good. Yeah, there's been a lot of uh, discussions about it about it online from certain communities since it came out, but um, to, sorry, to get back to Fantastic Four. Um, One of the things that this movie did just absolutely amazingly is prove to the world that Sue Storm is apparently one of the strongest characters in all of comics.
Casually.
Yeah, like if you were just going off of those old movies, you wouldn't believe it. Like, yeah, she said, "Oh, I can make a little force field bubble in your heart and kill you instantly." She never did anything like that. She like everything Jessica Alba did was purely done for fan service. She just made a couple of shields every now and then. She would have to strip naked in order to become invisible. That's weird. Like, I know it's the mid 2000s. That's just kind of how movies work. But like this movie, just like even while she was actively giving labor, she still had enough strength to turn an entire ship invisible. And then like what she did to Galactus at the end is just
Crazy.
so cool. But not even just that. When they're fighting Galactus, like the team ups they did against him, like having like her putting up that shield in front of Galactus's eye, so Johnny can shoot like a condensed fire like right at his eye.
Hmm.
Ben throwing that oil tanker at him so that Johnny can light it on fire. Didn't really do anything, but still, it was a good attempt. Um, um, just like I just really liked how that climax happened a lot. It didn't feel like it didn't. Let me put it this way: like I don't think necessarily that Sue could have killed Galactus, but just the fact that she was able to push him with that much force against his will, even with the other people's help, like that just showed just how insanely strong she is, and I really I like that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, she was literally, I mean, pushing Galactus back into, you know what I mean? It was just like, oh dang, like,
Yeah.
I mean, and it took a lot out of her, obviously, but it's
Yeah, she
like, I mean, the
died
fact
and
that you
came
could,
back, but still.
yeah, but I mean, but still, the fact that he could do it is still crazy.
Yeah. Um, trying to think if there's any other little things. Okay, I think you have anything else you want to talk about before we talk about the after credit scene?
Um, I mean, I liked it a lot. I really liked their scene. I like how they made Ben like charming, still a person, not just like a grouch or of solitude. Um,
Oh, Herbie was great. I liked Herbie.
yeah, Herbie. Yeah, Herbie was a
Mhm.
nice addition. He was funny. He was trying to help, but also like
Mhm.
he very much gave R2D2 vibes, but in a much more fun way.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean everything was pretty. I mean everything's pretty great. Also, Johnny looked good. Like how his
Mm.
powers worked.
Mhm.
I think it looked really cool. I thought it was pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
he just, he can kind of just take off, fly, burn, but not like crazy. Like he
Mhm.
can control it well and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I
Which he needs. Like the only thing I was like when he went out into space, I was like, doesn't he need like oxygen in space to like do fire?
I guess he went
Because
into
like
like
that's how fire
upper
works.
atmosphere, like not like to the point where there's still some oxygen, but not. And when he went up to like when he was up there, at least in the beginning, when he was like holding onto her surfboard, he wasn't on fire at that point. So I guess it went out, but he was still able to breathe at least a little bit.
Okay. Yeah,
But
because.
any time that Johnny was flying or even just near the Silver Surfer, just how it like reflected off of her so
Mm-hmm.
that was very cool.
Looked
Um,
really cool.
yeah, like there's been some people comparing the CG between the the Rise of the Silver Surfer and this one, but like I think they're again just done so differently. It's kind of hard to compare them, but just all the different environments that she was in, like that warp tunnel again with the black hole, which was a just amazing spectacle on the
Mm-hmm.
big screen. It's like all that reflecting off of her while she was surfing, like it just yeah.
Awesome. Oh, and
Mm-hmm.
also music score. Excellent.
Yes.
I really was a fan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who would have guessed that? Just who in general? Who would have guessed that a movie made by the guy that directed WandaVision with the cinematography of the guy that made Loki with the score of the guy that scored Incredibles would have made a good movie? Who would have guessed?
Yes. Not me, never. No. I mean, no. I mean, it was really obviously like it was in the trailer, so you knew it was gonna be cool. But like that opening montage, I was
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like it gets you going. Like, I was humming that leaving the theater. I'm like, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh
Yeah.
man, no, that was definitely a good one.
Um, oh, there were quite a number of subtle cameos throughout this movie. You may not know this, but in like 1994, there was an attempt at making a Fantastic Four movie that never actually got released. It was made on like $40 in a dream, and then whoever was making it just didn't release it. So it's like it's a thing where it's technically you can find it online, but in like recording on a screen, like there's no way to like actually like view it in its entirety in it the way it's supposed to be viewed. But um, so there is a version of Fantastic Four that exists from the '90s that only barely exists. But those actors who played those four from that movie are in the opening montage in a couple of different places. So I think that's a lot of fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and another one. Um, when I think it's when Silver Surfer first shows up, it one of the some of the people reacting are oh, what were they called? Oh no, hang on. It like pans over to a comic shop and like the people in the comic shop, it like pans inside and like shows them actively working on like Fantastic Four comics. Oh, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can
Okay,
you?
sorry,
Oh, wait.
froze.
Hold on. I'm frozen. I can't. I can hear you, but I can't
Weird.
see. Oh boy.
Oh,
Oh wait. Okay.
no,
Wait.
no, hang on.
No. No. We're still frozen. Well.
Like every like,
Slightly moved, but I'm still
so
frozen.
why is this happening? Um,
So close. We're doing so well.
yeah,
Come on, give me something.
I'm moving. Are you?
Oh, you're not frozen. Oh wait, I'm like kind of back,
You're
sort of,
blurry, but we're back. Okay.
a little bit. Okay, I think. Ah,
Yep. Yep.
okay, good enough.
Okay. But yeah, in that comic store, you can like see Fantastic Four, like actual real life Fantastic Four comic covers, and in the credits, the two people in that shop are like their names either are references to or anagrams of Stan Lee and Steve Dido. Not Steve Dido. Yeah, no,
No,
no.
Jack Kirby.
Yeah, Jack Kirby. Like
Yeah.
that's cool. Like obviously you can't actually have them cameo in the movie, but just having like
Well, yeah.
that that very fun allusion to them, I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep them. It's Marvel's first family after all.
Mm, yeah, and obviously, all the way flash all the way to the end. Just the Earth this took place in 828 is a reference to Jack Kirby's birthday. Like
Mm.
it's a very and yeah, like this movie, I think was like truly a love letter just to the Fantastic Four as a whole, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And like a redemption for like being trash for the past
Mm-hmm. Ever.
every movie, kind of.
Like the first one has its charms. It's not the worst thing ever, but it's still not very good. um, but yeah, then the next two are also very, very bad. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, one thing that I like was a little confused about is the very previous Marvel movie we got was the Thunderbolts, and the after
Hmm.
credits scene of that had the Excelsior, their ship, which again is another Stan
Yep.
Lee reference, like entering Earth's atmosphere.
Yes.
That didn't happen in
Didn't
this
happen. Nope.
movie. Like everyone was like, "Oh," yeah. My brother was like, "Oh, I know where this is going." When they were like teleporting the planet, like, "Oh, are they moving it to a planet that is in our universe somehow?" No, they're still as far as the end of this movie. All the named characters are still on that planet. However, we did get our first glimpse at Doctor Doom in this after credit scene, and it's been confirmed that that was in fact like Robert Downey Jr. on set doing that.
It still feels weird. I don't know how to feel about that. Like I know we didn't see him, or you didn't say anything, but it was just kind of like, eh.
Like, I don't think like it's kind of in a similar way of how Joker showed up in the Batman, where like the movie doesn't need to have the character's main antagonist. Them having this reference is cool. And even like earlier in the movie, the one person not on the UN council was the one from that area. Like that's cool. Like he's not even like he's has a seat, but he's not involving himself in this.
Right.
Like you don't need Doctor Doom in a Fantastic Four movie, but also
Is it
especially
really
since
a
this movie is
Fantastic Four movie?
directly setting up a Doctor Doom crossover event with other Avenger characters.
Yeah,
feel it's very important that Reed and Doctor, like, their relationship. Just have like one scene of them like on a video conference with Latveria and being like, we need your help to develop this, this teleporting device. And it's like a short 2 minute conversation, and he refuses. And they think about it. Like, I think that would have been enough, but instead they save it until the very, very end, to the point where we don't even know if this is the Doctor Doom from this reality. Like, it could be. Is there more than one? Is this like, is he like? There's literally no way of knowing if like Sue didn't react in a way as if she knew who it was. I don't know.
Yeah, not really sure at all about that. I don't know. I mean, the Doctor Doom thing still kind of feels. I don't know. Not just with the whole RDJ part, but it's just kind of like, all right, how are they really gonna do this? And like, even how the movie ended, I'm like, I know there was like a time jump from kind of where the movie ends to like that after credit or the whole scene with
Yeah, 4 years.
yeah, was it 40? Wait, how?
Yeah, it was this. The after credit scene jumped 4 years.
Huh? Wait from Thunderbolts or from?
Well, it's a different Earth. Um,
Well, yeah, I guess
so
that's true.
so it the events of the movie took place over, like, I guess 9-ish months, maybe 10, give or take. No, about a year. I don't know. Let's say the movie took place over about a year, and then from whatever happened at the very end of the movie, it said 4 years later for the after credits scene with Doctor Doom.
Yes, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
Okay, that is right. So yeah, I mean,
it
I
was a
guess
year and a half, I think, for Thunderbolts. I think.
yeah, I think that's about right. But yeah, so we don't. I don't know how they're gonna do this. Who knows? But I mean, I don't
Eh,
know. They might just. I mean, who knows? Franklin might just teleport them to a new reality. Who knows? Like,
Franklin can do anything.
that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like, well, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I will say it's. You know me. I really like the Russo brothers directed Marvel movies. Winter Soldier and Civil War are up there as two of my favorites. Infinity War is also up there. I also really, really like Endgame. Um, I I like their directing style when they're directing Marvel stuff. Their solo, non-Marvel stuff has been very hit or miss, mostly miss, but still, um, it's just very interesting, especially going in knowing that they were the ones directing this after credit scene. It was very obvious that the director of the after credit scene was different than the one directing the rest of the movie. Just the rest of the movie had this color, had this vibe, had this just essence to it that was very different than what even just the 90-second scene at the end had. Just the way Sue's hair was different, just the way the colors were slightly different, just the way things were shot. Like, I don't know, it's not bad. It just is clearly very different, and it's gonna be interesting going into Avengers Doomsday and seeing how these characters are gonna work with a different director. That's just
Hmm.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm thinking.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's cool that we finally at some point actually do were introduced to Doctor Doom at some point before Avengers Doomsday. Um, but again, it's just very weird that I guess we're gonna have to spend some time in Avengers Doomsday leading up to what happens in the after credits scene of Thunderbolts. So like that's a solid 5-10 minutes of movie just to get to something that we already know is going to happen.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of feels not like a time waster. It feels like we still have. I don't know, it's like work. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I'm guessing Sue and Reed and them are going to confront Doom. They're going to get Franklin away from him, and like they feel like the only way to get away from Doom is to teleport to another dimension somehow. Like maybe they're flying away and Franklin does just you know pop them into a different dimension. That's very possible. Actually,
Probably.
probably what's going to happen.
Most likely gonna
Yeah,
happen, yeah.
yeah, but we'll see. It is very encouraging that they're currently on a bit of a streak when it comes to Marvel stuff. Daredevil Born Again, I think, was overall very, very good. Had like a rough middle-ish part, but like it wasn't terrible. Thunderbolts, amazing, really impressed me. I like the
Mm-hmm.
most of Ironheart, most of it, and then I think this movie was also just you know very, very good. So yeah, like I I wish that Captain America 4 was a different movie, so that way that we could say that the streak had started earlier. But oh well, 3 out of 4 is or 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 isn't the worst, I guess. We'll say 3 out of 5 to balance the part of Ironheart and Born Again that aren't the best, but still,
Not bad.
yeah, not all things considered, not terrible.
Not terrible. There is much worse. We how
Yes,
quickly we forget.
yes. Um, so yeah, like I said, it's just so crazy that we actually live in a world where there is a good Fantastic Four movie.
Finally.
Yes,
First
I
time we could
hope.
say that, like ever.
Yep, I hope that we can exist with these characters in future movies that are like this going
Mm-hmm.
forward. After Doomsday, after Secret Wars, I hope these characters can stick around to go back to their own dimension and just keep this train going because there's 70 plus years of Fantastic Four lore that they can pull from
So
to
much.
60 whatever. There's a
Yeah.
lot of
And their
time.
relationships with other characters too. Because
Yeah,
like Johnny and Peter have a great relationship and stuff like that. So
yep,
like, that'd be awesome. Or like they bring the future foundation to, you know, our universe and maybe that's how Peter can kind of get involved, but I don't know. Who
yep.
knows?
Because Brand New Day is the next movie, and
Yeah,
have you seen that new Spider-Man suit?
I saw it.
Like that is Spider-Man. Like
It looks
I
like
looked at it
Spider-Man.
like,
Like it looks
wow, that's Spider-Man.
it's almost interesting because like how every suit kind of feels like it's like, oh, this is this suit, this is that, like you can tell like, oh, the Raimi
Mm,
suit because it has like the really detailed webbing. Oh yeah, I remember, the Spider-Man PS4's got the white spider on it, and oh yeah, the Marvel one has got this and that and that. It's like this one looks like every comic book Spider-Man suit you've ever seen. Like,
yep.
and I think it's interesting. Spider-Man's one of those characters that like even though there's a bazillion comics, his suit kind of always looks the same. I would argue. I mean, unless it's like a specific, type of suit, but like, like Batman, sometimes it's blue,
Mm.
sometimes it's black, sometimes there's a symbol, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the ears are long, they're short, they're inside, they're outside. They're like
Mm.
Spider-Man's kind of just like red, blue, webbing,
Yeah.
line.
Throughout the years, he's obviously had like a bunch of different, like kind of one-off costumes, but more
Mm-hmm.
often than not, it's red, blue, with a symbol on the front and back. That with webbing. That's all you need.
Yep, pretty much.
And I've seen like some idiots online complain because Spider-Man fans are like weirdly weird. I'll say weirdly weird about Spider-Man costumes specifically. Like they'll take any little nitpick they can and be like, because this thing exists, the whole suit sucks. I'll be like, oh, the eyes aren't big enough, or I don't like the raised webbing, or I wish the webbing was raised. Oh, the color of red is wrong. Oh, the blue is too reflective. Oh, I wish the blue was more reflective. The symbol should be higher up. The symbol should be smaller. The symbol should be bigger. Like this is Spider-Man. Like that is what Spider-Man looks like. The screenshot, the little promotional video they showed, just they made Spider-Man real, and I love that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it
Yeah,
looks like Spider-Man. Like, you know what I mean? It's not gonna be, oh, this is, this Spider-Man, that Spider-Man. This just looks like Spider-Man. Like, it feels like the MCU is trying to, because it kind of felt like it's like, oh, this is the MCU's Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man. This feels like they're trying to be like, nope, this is just Spider-Man. It's not the
Spider-Man.
MCU Spider-Man. It's not this Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
It's a brand new
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not Tom Holland. I mean, it is Tom Holland Spider Man, but it's, you know what I
mm-hmm.
mean. It's not like it's just Spider Man.
Yeah,
That's it.
and oh, it's so refreshing. I understand that they basically had to film all of No Way Home during COVID, so they had a lot of restrictions. Basically, had to film the whole thing in front of the green screen. But it's so refreshing seeing those screenshots, the any given footage, the promotional footage they showed, and actually like seeing at least an actor in the Spider-Man costume like actually doing practical swinging, actually being in the middle of a street in New York or wherever whatever place they're filming as New York, like having like actual like crowds watch them make the movie. Like that's so cool. Like having like actual tanks, like actual pyrotechnics. Like it's kind of weird because that's how movies have been made forever. But in the last 5 or so years, it seems almost like a novelty now that we're actually getting a Spider-Man movie that feels this confident in being a real superhero movie, and that's
Hmm.
I am all for that.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what they do with just the Spider Man movie. Like, no, we're not, obviously Iron Man's not involved, so
Mm, yeah,
we'll have to see how this goes.
we do know that Scorpion has been confirmed as at least one of the villains. Finally, following up on the after credit scene from Homecoming, which is 9 years in the making.
So, is this gonna be the same Scorpion? I
As
assume,
far as we
or
know,
we?
it's the guy from Better Call Saul who was Scorpion who will be in
Hmm.
this movie. Yes. Um. Yeah. Who like how exactly it'll work? We'll see. Um. But but finally, actually making him Scorpion is correct because I really like that actor. Like I think they should have done that 2 movies ago, but they just didn't. Like especially, I think it would have been I think it would have, if No Way Home were a different movie, I think it would have been like the perfect setup. I think it froze again. Can you still hear me? Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
okay. I think it would have been the perfect setup to have something like, oh, now that Spider-Man's been outed for who he is, to perhaps someone hire Scorpion to go after him. That, like it is in the comics,
Hmm.
but
Okay. Yeah. Let's see.
that movie turned out the way it did. Great. Like I'm not mad at that. I want to say I'm more mad at Sony for being like, oh, because we might make a Craven the Hunter movie later, you can't use Craven here, even though it would make sense to have a Craven's Last Hunt esque storyline here. But whatever. And then they made a really bad Craven the Hunter movie.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's been reconfirmed that Punisher and the Hulk are going to be in this movie in some capacity. Um, so yeah, like even though it's not going to be a solo Spider-Man movie, like I don't care. I really do think that Punisher and Spider-Man make a fun uh make a fun because someone mentioned that because this Punisher like John Berthnell because this one specifically like is like his whole thing is giving people random nicknames. Um, like he'll be the first one to call Spider-Man webhead.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, like
And it just sticks, and then it's just like,
all his villains start calling him that. Just I think
yeah,
that's
they'd be like, what? He's like, how is this catching on? That would be
um
pretty awesome.
one more little thing I want to talk about is so like 5 or so years ago, um Warner Bros. And Discovery merged into Warner Bros. Discovery.
Sure,
You're
yeah.
sure, yeah. It hasn't really meant anything, but that happened. Um, I don't know why or how this happens, but it's happening. Warner Bros. And Discovery are splitting up again.
So why did they merge in the first
I'm
place?
not sure. I
I guess
I
that's why they're splitting up.
I don't know who initiated the merge. I don't know if both parties were like, we both need something to keep ourselves afloat, so let's merge together. But like, oh, this actually isn't working out. So maybe it's a thing where like, if we're not profitable enough within X number of years, we can split. I'm not sure. Um, but regardless, in this split, it's been confirmed that Warner Brothers will keep streaming and movie rights, while Discovery will keep network TV rights. Meaning that technically, after all of this is over, supposedly, as far as I can tell, shows and stuff originally made for Cartoon Network, which eventually got lumped in with Warner Brothers after they bought Turner Media, will now be under Discovery.
Okay. They'll actually use them, maybe.
Who knows? Probably not. Who knows? And
Probably.
then and then Warner Brothers will keep everything they for HBO Max, and then you know DC, the MonsterVerse, whatever else they make over at Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
As far as movies go.
Okay.
So yep, that's happening. Of course, you have idiots online who have been trying their hardest to spin Superman in heavy quotations underperforming as being the reason for this to happen when like no, I'm sure these contracts were written up months, if not years ago. Even and like Superman literally isn't underperforming, it's performing actually better than Warner Brothers. Like it's doing as good or better than they were predicting. Would they have liked it to break 1 billion by now? Probably. Everyone would have liked it too, but like right at 600 is like still pretty good for a first movie in a franchise like this. But whatever. Um, because people just make up numbers and try to say that oh it's losing $200 million like because of some numbers that I'm making up. Discovery saw that and immediately wanted to to break off from them as if that's how any of this works, which it does not.
People just want to make it, oh, it's Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder, so it's a flop, even though it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
even though everyone liked it, I think it's bad. And
Yep.
I
Like
don't know, man.
not to like it's do I claim to know everything I'm talking about in every single case? No. But also, I don't go on Twitter and try to act like I am an authority. Like if ever I don't know something, I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not sure. This is just what I think." But there's so many people who are on Twitter constantly fighting with other people trying to say that or trying to justify in their little echo chambers that because Superman has made this much money, and in their minds, I guess it'll never make any more money, even though it's still in theaters and it's releasing on digital soon, and also it'll release on VHS, which that'll be money from there, and also merchandise, and
VHS.
also uh, and also write-offs from just because movies can just have stuff written off, uh, product placements that could potentially also help with costs. Like just there's a lot of things that go into making a movie that you know just because a movie costs 250-ish million to make plus 100-ish million in marketing, that doesn't mean that it needs to make 800 million to break even, as some people are trying to say, which I don't even know
Right?
where they get that number from. Um, I know I brought this up when we were talking about Dune Part Two a year ago, when like, oh, that movie cost 180 million to make, and it costed 100
It
million
has
for
to make
marketing.
this
It has to
much to
make,
be a profit.
yeah, like because those numbers are out there. If you just straight double that, actually 2.5 times nowadays for some arbitrary reason, it actually has to make 600 million to break even. But like, and then it did that, and then like, oh, it's not profitable enough. Like, shut up. um, so all that to say, James Gunn's contract will be up by the end of next year. We'll see by then if they fire him.
No chance.
Probably not. But if they do, then yeah, maybe they'll walk it back and actually say, oh, this was a failed idea. But like, you know, when this all said and done, Superman is probably going to make a little over 600 million. It is annoying that that number isn't even as much as Man of Steel was 12 years ago, but also there's just the landscape is just so drastically different. We're at the point nowadays where Netflix and Amazon and all these other streaming companies can just throw around $200 million on absolutely terrible movies that just go to streaming that they're not going to see direct revenues from, yet they keep making these movies. So clearly that number doesn't really mean anything anymore. Clearly there's some internal logic that these companies make, like some internal formula that these companies have to determine if something is worth doing. So if they're willing to spend $200 million on Red Notice over at Netflix, and then that movie is randomly, the most watched movie of all time, although it didn't really raise Netflix subscriptions all that much, they still continue to then make $200+ million movies on top of that. So, and that's just direct to streaming where you can't even pay for that movie. You have to, it's just lumped in with your subscription. Whereas here you literally pay for a ticket, you pay for digital, you pay for the steel book when it comes to Blu-ray, you pay for any merchandise, like you pay for the popcorn buckets, you like just like movies, like movie studios and movie theaters literally have contracts with each other to, like, where they get like cuts or kickbacks depending on how well movies do.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how this works, is what I'm getting at. Even I don't know exactly how it works. I just know that you definitely don't know how this works.
It's like you're just some guy on Twitter who just read something on YouTube, read something on a Reddit post once,
Mm-hmm.
watched two YouTube videos, and now you think you understand movie economics. So it's like, I don't think you
Uh-huh.
do. But at the same time, it's like, why do we care? Like,
I don't
just
I
watch
don't
the
know.
movie or don't, and that's it. Like,
Right?
if you like it, watch it again. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
like it, don't watch it again. Like, I don't really.
Yeah. And there's been this crusade against people posting the fact that this movie is actually doing really well at the domestic box office, which, first of all, those numbers are the most important numbers. The general rule of thumb, from what I understand, is again, I don't know everything, like I've already said, but just from what I've heard, just in general, is that if a movie can make its budget back domestically, that and like then the rest of the world is just gravy. Obviously, you want it to make a lot of money worldwide, but if the domestic dollars, which is the most money you're going to make, if
Mm,
that breaks even, then you're good. This movie has definitely crossed its budget domestically. It hasn't done as well worldwide for various reasons, but that doesn't matter nearly as much as domestic dollars. So, that being said, it actually is important that Warner Brothers acknowledges that yes, this movie is actually doing very well domestically. But also, they try to say like, oh, there's this agenda to just bring up domestic money when it comes to this movie. They never done that for any other movie, not to this extent. That is blatantly incorrect. Because I have a memory that apparently is more than a goldfish. I specifically remember every single time any movie ever comes out and does even decently well domestically or like meets some milestone domestically, these Twitter profiles that are specifically made for reporting on movie financials, they'll report domestic numbers. That's what they do. Because you live in this echo chamber where apparently DC movies are the only movies that have ever existed. You think that there's some weird thing that these people are doing to try to keep this movie alive because they think that domestic's the only thing that matters, when like no, they're just following what they've always done. It just so happens that you're actually paying attention this time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of that is just like, I don't know. This is one of the reasons I don't really do Twitter because it's like,
Oh
I
no,
mean,
it's
at the end
taken
of the
years off my
day,
life. It's not healthy, but it's kind
it's
of
just, yeah. I mean, people are
entertaining.
gonna be. It could be. We could literally get the best movie of all time, and someone would be like, "This movie's just a distraction. It's not really that good." Blah
Mm,
blah blah. That wasn't an Oscar worthy performance. You know what I mean? What like people
yep.
will say whatever they want, and it's like, bro, like, hey man, just watch something else. Like,
Mm,
there's billions of movies and TV shows out there at this point. Just go watch something else, man. I don't
uh-huh.
really. If you don't like it, leave. Like, I don't
Yeah. Eh,
like. I get like, it's like, I don't know, like, when I didn't like Superman, it's like, okay, like, I'm not gonna be
okay.
here and be like, you know what, this movie is, I'm gonna anyone, we gotta cancel this movie, we gotta make sure no one ever sees it again. It's like, no, it exists, it's fine. I don't
Yeah, but
support it, but it's whatever. And
yeah,
now,
like even I am like, I like the movie a lot, but I have my criticisms of it. I think it's healthy to
yeah,
not just blindly adore any given product that you consume. Like,
no.
but I can't go online and even like voice minor complaints about it because then you'll have idiots online being like, "Now you see the truth." It's like, no, I'm just saying that this one thing could have been done a little better. Like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, just I don't know. And these days, having opinion is just
Mm-hmm.
basically
Yeah.
illegal at this point. But
Mm-hmm. And then you have people who, after the movie came out, it was reported that on HBO Max, other Superman projects like Man of Steel and the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, Superman Return, like Superman cartoons, like a bunch of other Superman content was being watched at a higher rate since this movie came out.
yeah,
And of course, those idiots on Twitter were like, "Oh, people are going to other Superman stuff to cleanse their palate for how bad this movie was." Like, no,
what?
it's called brand synergy. This happens whenever
That
anything comes
makes
out.
no freaking sense, yo.
If there was like
What?
good versions of other Fantastic Four stuff out there, which there isn't really that much good stuff out there for Fantastic Four, if there was a lot of good stuff for other Fantastic Four stuff readily available, I guarantee that stuff would have also been, picked up traction after Fantastic Four came out. When the Mario movie came out, other Mario content across Nintendo platforms, stuff that was available, shot up in sales. Mario Kart, Mario Odyssey, Mario Party, like Mario and Luigi, Luigi's Mansion, like Mario stuff across the board, just like shot up in sales after that movie came out because that's how it works. If something is extremely popular in a mass media environment, people are going to seek out more stuff about that IP. So it's only good that Warner Brothers is able to track that. Oh, because the weekend after this movie came out, people went to HBO to watch more Superman stuff. Like that's good for them. But no, they got to spin it to some weird agenda as if it's actually a negative. When no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That logic is so weird to me. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, you're gonna tell me that like You know, like, oh yeah, like they're bad. Like, the cleanse your palate thing is so weird. It's like that's not how anything works. Whenever
Mm-hmm.
any movie comes out, when Kung Fu Panda 4 came out, what the highest watched movies on, whatever Netflix and all their networks
Kung Fu
was,
Panda
the
one.
other Kung Fu Panda movies, like
Yeah.
that's just how things work.
I
Like
think
people
there was a
want to watch
report that
related stuff.
after Dune Part Two came out, or like the week leading up to the week after Dune Part One,
Yeah.
like with a Rogue One was the highest watched thing on Disney Plus the weeks like
Yeah,
while and
Andor came
after
out.
Andor
Yeah.
was out. Like
Right, because
that's
people just want to that's just how that works. Like,
yeah. A Star Wars
oh
thing gets
man,
popular, other Star Wars stuff is watched. Like that's
that's just
oh
how things
goodness.
work. People just want related stuff. I mean, it's just
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't argue with people these
I
days,
know.
man.
But speaking of how things work, Superman is going to to digital while still being in theaters for the next who knows how long. Going to digital this Friday,
Oh,
approximately 35 days after it released in theaters. Because nowadays, that's actually how things work. It's not indicative of how it's doing in the box office. A movie that's actually doing better at the international box office, Jurassic World Dominion, whatever the new one is called, the new Jurassic World, that's
oh yeah.
actually recently crossed 800 million, but that movie actually went to digital last week. So again, about 35 days after its initial release. But that doesn't mean anything. That's like it's just for some reason it's just a thing now that movies have to go to streaming way before their box office run is over, even though like it's actually still doing decently well, better than a lot of other movies are, 5 6 weeks out from release, but whatever.
Right. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like it's dumb because yeah, I mean they're gonna find any reason to discredit or any reason. But if it's a movie they support, it's like, oh, that doesn't matter. Oh,
Yeah.
that's not important. It's like, oh, but you said it was important here. Oh, well, that's that.
Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter if you have a 27% Rotten Tomatoes. Like, okay, streaming numbers don't matter if it's Justice League. I it's oh my gosh, I saw people like making fun of people who said like, oh, I'm time for my 10th viewing of Superman. They're calling them a loser when literally these same people are bragging about seeing Justice League eight, Zack Snyder Justice League 8 times or like 4 to 8 times the weekend it came out. Like that's a 4-hour movie. You spent
Mm.
32 hours watching this one movie over a
Right?
week. Like, that's a little much. Yeah, you're making
That's
fun of
a
the other guy, for liking a movie and going to the theater a lot, when like it's honestly been a thing since like Spider-Man No Way Home or
forever.
even Captain Marvel. Like there was like one movie, maybe it was Captain Marvel actually. There was like some guy who saw that movie like 130 times somehow.
Jeez.
And then with Spider-Man there was someone who watched it like a lot, and then there was a guy on Twitter who like his whole like I think he made a thing where like he saw Dune Part Two once a day for 2 months straight. So like it's
Once
a
a day for two
yeah, like it's
months?
a pretty common trend nowadays for if someone big on Twitter
That's your
likes a
job?
movie, they're
Like,
gonna
that's a
watch it a lot.
long movie. That's a 3 hour movie. I
Yes,
mean, who? That is
that's
wow.
correct. So
I would get so tired of that movie at that point.
yeah, it's good. I really like it. I've seen it 3 times, but
Yeah,
I
but
couldn't get
no, I
enough.
mean, I like a lot of. There's no movie I could watch every day for 30 days. You said 30 days or two
I think it
months?
was I think it was 2 months or like something. It was like almost 60, I think.
If I
Yeah,
no, it could be any movie. I would hate it by like 10 days in a
right.
row.
Yeah. So yeah, like, would I have appreciated Superman making more at the box office?
Sure.
Sure. But also, I'm not a Warner Brothers investor, so it doesn't like directly affect me. What matters to me is that I liked the movie.
Yeah. And it was done in a way that I like the characters and it made enough money that they're gonna make more.
Yep.
So winner in my book. Anything else is
Like,
kind of just whatever.
yeah, we'll see how Supergirl does next year. Like, because it's not Superman, it already has like a little bit of a, you know, a disadvantage, but it's not releasing right next to another superhero thing. It is releasing like a week after Toy Story 5. I think is also in June next year, but I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like because it's not the same weekend, and also the demographics are maybe similar, but not like it's not
Uh,
like that big of a similarity. I feel like it'll do fine, assuming marketing is good and people like it. Like I have high hopes for that movie. Um,
hmm.
we'll definitely see kind of if we'll kind of see the like larger fruits of this James Gunn experiment after at the end of next year after that and Clayface come out, because you know if both those movies at least break even, ideally make a good amount of money, then I don't see a reason for them to fire James Gunn like these people insist on him doing. But even if they did fire James Gunn, they're not going to bring back Zack Snyder. I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. Although I have been wrong with that before as well. They have brought him back for that, for for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So who knows? I guess.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I think they're gonna be just fine.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's all the topics I have discussed today. Is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off?
Not really. I mean, the only thing I've got on my calendar, September 12th is the Demon Slayer movie hits
Yep.
theaters, which I'm going IMAX for. So
I'm
very
starting
excited
back up
about
Demon
that,
Slayer. I think I'm 3 episodes into season 3.
bro.
And I look, I love Demon Slayer. I really like the characters a lot. However, I literally just got introduced to the demon that can like multiply himself. I'm already like, you cut off his head and that doesn't matter anymore. Like, what is this?
Bro, it gets worse, man. It's like they're like the amount of final boss multiple
Mm,
form wave BS is just crazy, man. It gets
yeah,
it gets rough.
like I'm liking everything I'm seeing, which is I don't know. I I knew, especially after the previous one in the entertainment district, we're like, oh, we cut off his head. We got to cut off both heads at the same time. It's like,
Right. You're like,
oh,
oh,
now
this is
we
gonna
do
get
cut off both heads at the same time, but actually that doesn't matter. They both just grow into a new body, and like even the if you
yeah,
cut off his leg, even that grows into something. Okay. Well, I'll keep
it's
watching, but that's kind of where I was hoping this wouldn't go, and it is. It's fine.
yeah, it's pretty wild, but I would definitely keep watching.
Yeah.
It's really good, especially how the most recent season ends. I
Mm.
think you'll really like going into the movie. It's really exciting. So
Okay.
really hyped for that. But yeah, I'm good. I'm trying to get my brother to get back on the train before we go.
Mm. I mean, you can train. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? You just
No, that's pretty much it. That for me.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.
Take care.